That is the sound of a crisp Diet Mountain Dew. You may be asking, why are you drinking Diet Mountain Dew, Garrett? Have you lost your mind? Well, the people who I'm house sitting for right now were so kind as to buy me a 6-pack of Diet Mountain Dew in addition to my payment for staying at their house, so I can't really complain too much. Hello everyone, welcome back to Home Media Reviews. So very nice to see you all here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it right now. I am not in my normal location for when I am recording. It is also very late right now. As I mentioned earlier, I'm house sitting at the time that I'm recording this video, and I am not in my normal studio right now, also known as my closet. So if the audio sounds a little bit off, I'm in the most acoustic friendly part of the house right now, so it shouldn't sound too bad. It's also very late right now, so this recording could go off the rails very quickly, and I'm making a frozen pizza while we are recording this video. So it is just, wow, the HMR on Tremors is all over the damn place already, and we haven't even gotten started yet. And you would think that because I'm sitting down, I would be less manic, but you know, a new location, I got a pizza in the oven, I'm drinking a Diet Mountain Dew, I'm sitting down for this recording session. Everything is off its rocker right now, so forgive me if I go a little bit insane throughout this. I'm going to take another drink of my Diet Mountain Dew here. Anyway, as previously stated, this HMR is indeed on the cult classic 90s film Tremors, a movie that is a classic example of it doing very poorly at the box office, but home video rental and sales drove it to become one of the funniest and I would say one of the best cult classic films you can see today. It also spawned 6 sequels. All of them were direct-to-video. But hey, according to some fans, those sequels aren't actually all that bad. In fact, some people say that Tremors 2 is on par with the first one. I don't know if I believe them. But we're not here to talk about those sequels. We're here to talk about the original Tremors film. So let's jump right into the history section of Tremors. So Tremors hit movie theaters on January 19th, 1990. Now, even though I wasn't born in 1990, I didn't see this movie in the 90s. Let me set the stage for you here. Tremors, very, very low budget. I think it had a $10 million budget to work with. It had very, I wouldn't say subpar talent. You had folks like Kevin Bacon and Michael Gross, who was fresh off of Family Ties at this point, but not really, you know, A-list talent. You know, there's Fred Ward in there. I guess Reba McEntire would be considered A-list at that point in time, but it was a very, very low budget film. And it only came out in like, I don't know, a few thousand theaters, I think it was. It really wasn't a wide release. So a relatively smaller budget, kind of unknown cast, aside from your heavy hitters like your Kevin Bacon, your Michael Gross, kind of a Fred Ward, I guess, kind of a Reba McEntire. And the fact that it only hit, you know, not a lot of movie theaters means that this movie bombed, and it bombed hard. Also, it came out in January, which I don't feel like January back in the 90s was like January as we know it today. January in modern times is the dumping ground for films. It's where you put your movie if you have zero confidence in it. And I guess it was that way in the 90s too, because they didn't have a lot of confidence in Tremors. Universal didn't have a lot of confidence in Tremors, I should say. It made about $16 million here in the United States on a budget of $10 million. And if you know film, double your budget because of marketing costs. So Tremors really should have made about $22 million to even break even. But I hear from Universal that they did break even on this because of international box office sales. And also home video stuff may have helped it break even at one point. But when it first came out in theaters, it bombed. That's what I'm trying to say here. I had heard about Tremors for years. I'd heard about how it was this weird cult film that bombed at the box office that not a lot of people saw. My first exposure to it, I think, actually was Chris Stuckman. He had a segment on his YouTube channel where he talked about, old stuff from his childhood that he remembered fondly, and Tremors was one of the episodes, and I was like, that movie sounds interesting. I feel like I want to see that one day. And lo and behold, just a couple of years ago, Half Price Books was having a half-off everything Blu-ray and DVD sale, and they just so happened to have the copy of Tremors on Blu-ray that you're going to see in the close-up, and wouldn't you know it, I got it for like $3, I think. I watched it and thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it the first time I saw it. Tremors then hit VHS on April 1st in 1990. I'm surprised that's actually true, considering April 1st, we all know, the jokey day, haha, funny, memes, and all that. I have here in my notes that this became a cult hit because of home video sales, and that's true. A lot of people rented this movie. They didn't buy it, but they rented it from Blockbuster, and that's how it became this cult classic film that everybody knew. That's also why Universal went back in 1994 and started production on Tremors 2, because they saw how good Tremors was doing in the home video market. Which, again, is why I will sing physical media's praises until my final breath, because physical media is so important. Without the physical media release of Tremors, it would not have had any leg to stand on, basically. And it certainly would not have spawned, 6 different direct-to-video sequels if it had just languished in movie theaters and never come to VHS, and nobody would have been able to see it. Matter of fact, I'm sure that's how a lot of people did see it, was through home video rentals. The Laserdisc for Tremors then hit the market on April 16th, 1996. There was both a full screen and a widescreen version of the movie. The widescreen Laserdisc was the best way to experience Tremors back in the 90s. The VHS was in full screen. Wasn't the greatest way to see it, but if you had a Laserdisc player and you liked the movie enough to buy it in widescreen, you would have had a really good time back then. The DVD of Tremors then hit on April 28th, 1998. Not really much else to say about that. It is significant, though, because it was a very early DVD release for Universal, very early on in that format's life. The VHS then got a re-release on June 2nd, 2000 under the Collector's Choice line. This is the version that, spoiler alert, I'm going to show you in the close-up, because this is the variant that I found at a local flea market. I think in the close-up I say I don't know if it's an original print or not, but I filmed that close-up months ago. It's not. It's a reprint from 2000, but still cool to have a Tremors VHS in the collection. You're going to hear this term a lot throughout this history section, so pay attention. The Tremors Attack Pack hit on November 29th, 2005. This is a DVD-only set. This included Tremors 1, Tremors 2, Aftershocks, Tremors 3, Back to Perfection, and Tremors 4, The Legend Begins. So basically Tremors 1 through 4. And yeah, you're going to hear the term Attack Pack a lot throughout this history section, so like I said, pay close attention to that. Tremors then hit Blu-ray on November 9th, 2010. So 5 years after it last got released on physical media. Universal was kind of dragging its feet with this Blu-ray release. They were kind of a trailblazer when it came to the DVD. Maybe on that format it didn't sell very well, so they were hesitant to put this on Blu-ray. I'm glad they did, though, because this Blu-ray looks pretty daggone good. It's not an upscale of the DVD. They actually went in and brought this up to 1080p, and it looks superb. The Blu-ray Tremors Attack Pack hit on September 17th, 2013. This is just a reprint of the Tremors 1 through 4 Attack Pack back in 2005, but now on Blu-ray. So again, this one's actually kind of cool, given that it's a DVD set. We have a 4-movie Midnight Marathon Creature Feature DVD set. This hit store shelves on September 2nd, 2014. That was a lot of words there. It is a long title. But this 4-pack included Tremors, Slither, Tremors 2, and this movie that just is a bunch of S's. I'm going to say it here, kind of. I don't know if it's about a snake, but it's just a bunch of S's. Slither, though, that was an early James Gunn film before he was hired by Marvel and the chairman of DC Studios. So if you want to go back and see his early work, check out Slither. I've never seen it, but I hear it's good. The Tremors anthology DVD set hit on June 7th, 2016. This included Tremors 1 through 5 now. We got 5 Tremors movies in 2016. Let's see. It is Tremors 5 Bloodlines. Thank you, Now Playing Podcast, for reviewing all 7 of the Tremors films. I'm currently re-listening to their series on Tremors from back in, 2020, 2021 or something. So yeah, Tremors 5 Bloodlines is the most recent Tremors film in 2016. Tremors, the complete collection DVD set hit on May 1st, 2018. No Blu-ray for this, just a DVD. My pizza's done. Hang on a minute. Ah, a lovely cheese pizza just for me. Now we have Tremors 1 through 6 in 2018, which Tremors 6 is called Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell. There's no Tremors 6 in the title. They dropped the numbers. I don't know why franchises do that, but Tremors did, and it's dumb. The Tremors Attack Pack Blu-ray got a reprint on May 22nd, 2018. This is significant not only because it only has Tremors 1 through 4, but it included movie cash to go see Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. So if you didn't own Tremors 1 through 4, you could pick this up and go watch a really bad dinosaur movie. I hate Fallen Kingdom. Although I don't know which one's worse, Dominion or Fallen Kingdom. Side note, I remember when Fallen Kingdom came out, I had a debate with a couple of my friends who aren't as invested in the realm of film going as I am. They tried to argue with me that Fallen Kingdom was a lot of fun and they really enjoyed it. Which, fair. You know what? It's fine if they liked it, but then they tried to tell me that it was good, that it was a good movie, and I said, no, it's not. You can enjoy it, but it's not a good movie. They liked it mainly because the dinosaurs punched each other or something. Which, okay, yeah, that's fun. I mean, the first Jurassic World was basically that, and I had a good time with it, but Fallen Kingdom tried to be more than that, and it failed on every sense. February 26, 2019 brings us a FYE exclusive Blu-ray Steelbook for Tremors. You heard me right there, FYE. Not Best Buy for some odd reason. Now, I'm pretty familiar with this Steelbook because I've seen it lingering on one of my FYE store shelves, and it has been stuck at like $30 for the past 6 years. Like, they just refuse to bring down the price of this, even though Tremors, spoiler alert, now has a 4K from Arrow Video. Like, why in the world would you keep this at like $25 or $30? No one's going to buy it. That's the main problem with FYE nowadays. Not only have their prices for physical media just gone through the ever-loving roof. I mean, they weren't great to begin with, but now they're like in insane territory. But the physical media that they do have is so small. They focus more on vinyl records, which, okay, fair. That stuff sells more than Blu-rays. But then just cheap pop culture merchandise garbage. It just... I missed the old days of FYE. Back when I could go in there and browse aisles and aisles of physical media and find movies I'd never heard of before. Just like the old days of Best Buy. I'm sounding like an old fuddy-duddy right now. There was a 6-movie Blu-ray collection that hit store shelves on October 15th, 2019. This one was also a Steelbook. It was not a Best Buy exclusive, though. It was a Walmart exclusive Steelbook. This was at that point in time where Walmart was grabbing the rejected Steelbooks from Best Buy and putting them on their store shelves. I guess Best Buy said, hell no, we're not selling a 6-movie collection of Tremors. Take that, Walmart, you can have it. Which Tremors has basically become a Walmart bargain bin franchise at this point in time, so it makes total sense. I mean, you could probably get, Tremors 5 and 6 in the Walmart $5 DVD barrel. Probably still can now if you look deep enough in one of those things. The Tremors 7-movie collection DVD set hit on October 20th, 2020, the year that nobody wants to remember. This included Tremors 1 through 7. Yes, a 7th Tremors film that was filmed prior to COVID came out in 2020, Tremors Shrieker Island. And it was included in the Tremors 7 DVD set, which, take a look at this photo right here, it's on my store shelf at Best Buy. Out of all the physical media releases that Best Buy could have, John Wick Chapter 4 just came out at the time that I'm recording this. They didn't have a single one of those steelbooks in stock at their store. But by God, they're going to have a couple copies of the 7-movie collection of Tremors on DVD for like $18. You can't knock the price of Ant-Man 3 steelbook down to like $20. It's got to be stuck at 30. But yet, you still have the Tremors 7 movie collection on DVD. I laughed so hard when I saw that in the store. I had to take a photo of it and share it with you guys, because wow, that is insane to me. That's there. Like right now, I could go buy it if I wanted it. I don't want it, but what matters is I have the option. On December 15th, 2020, Arrow Video, which is a boutique Blu-ray label that deals heavily in films that studios don't have a lot of interest in reprinting. They do a lot of 4K upgrades and such. They got the rights to remaster Tremors in 4K, and that came out on December 15th, 2020. There was a regular Blu-ray variant and a Blu-ray plus 4K combo pack, and they both had these hard outer layer slipcover box type things. This is what Arrow is known for, other than the 4K upgrades, is their hard outer box sleeves that they come in. They feel very premium. They also got the rights, I think, to port RoboCop over to 4K. I have an Arrow video release. I have the Blu-ray of True Romance. I found it at Half Price Books for a deep discount. I think Arrow Video stuff comes out at like $40 MSRP. I found True Romance for like $15. It had the slipcase, it had the artwork, it had the art cards, it had everything. I was like, shoot, I've never seen True Romance, but I'm grabbing this because this is just so cool. April 6th, 2021 brings us a 4K and Blu-ray reissue from Arrow. So this is the same as the 2020 variant, except it doesn't have the hard box and there's no combo pack. You only could get the Blu-ray just by itself or the 4K just by itself. But it is significantly cheaper than buying it in the slipcase box variant. A lot of people wait for these titles to go on discount and then buy them later, which I might do that for Tremors. I don't know, though. I'm debating. I want to support Arrow, but I already have Tremors on Blu-ray, and I think it looks fine. Do I need this movie in 4K? Is it going to blow my melon off? I don't think so. Another company who is known for some pretty cool physical media releases is Zavi, and they got a 4K exclusive steelbook release of the first Tremors film. This came out on July 5th, 2022, so just last year. I feel like this might have been a UK exclusive release because Zavi is a UK company, but I don't know. This showed up on Blu-ray.com. I put it in my notes. I thought it looked cool, so here's the steelbook for you. And I think Zavi recently changed its policy to where it's not shipping to the US market anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that was rumored for a while. That's dumb if that's the case, because Zavi is really cool. This one I don't have a precise date for, but I do have a month and a year for you. So the Tremors 7 movie collection DVD set got reprinted, but now it has a glow-in-the-dark slipcover. Ooh, that's fun. It's the exact same version you can find on my Best Buy store shelf right now, just without the glow-in-the-dark slipcover. That came out in July of 2022. Like I said, Blu-ray.com didn't have a date for this. I assume it might have been the same day as the Zavi 4K Steelbook, but I don't know. I'm not going to put out inaccurate information for you guys. I'm just going to say July 2022 for that. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the end of the history section for Tremors. I also feel like the Blu-ray of this got reprinted at some point, because you'll see in the close-up for this, my Blu-ray doesn't have the little ultimate high-def experience bar at the bottom, and the Blu-ray photo I showed in this history section, it does have that. So I feel like it might have got reissued at some point, maybe in like 2012 or something. I don't know. I'm not going to say definitively if that's true or not. All I know is I have the movie on Blu-ray, and you're going to see it in the close-up here, which means it's now time to move right along to the close-up, because that's the end of the history section. I'm going to go eat my pizza now. Alrighty, everyone. Here's your close-up look at Tremors. Starting off here with a Blu-ray release of the movie. Pretty sure this is the original Blu-ray. I picked this up used, so I can't really tell if it's the original Blu-ray or not. It's not the Arrow Video 4K, unfortunately, but Blu-ray works just fine for me. Blu-ray disc logo up there at the top. Kevin Bacon, Tremors, 3 main characters there on top. They say there's nothing under the sun but under the ground. And then there's one of the big worms down there at the bottom that's going to come up and eat our 3 main heroes. Oh no, Kevin Bacon, how will you ever star in the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special if you're eaten by the giant worm? Spoiler alert, he doesn't die in this movie because he's fine. Because he's the main hero. Plot armor and all that. I really like this poster though. It's really nice. Very vibrant colors there. Spine, Blu-ray disc logo, Tremors once again. Universal logo with a product number. The back features a tagline about how great Blu-ray is, which I tend to agree with. Barcode, blurb about the movie. Kevin Bacon, this other dude who I can't remember what his name is. Kevin Bacon again. There's Burt Gummer and his crazy wife, I think is who that is. I know that's Burt Gummer. I can't remember what the guy's name is. The actor who plays him, but that is the character's name. Bonus features include making of Tremors, outtakes, a featurette, star profiles, and then it is D-Box motion enabled. And then Blu-ray exclusive feature down there is a Blu-ray disc live format, which uses the internet to bring you content, and it doesn't work anymore. Got cast and crew down at the bottom along with your rating, some other tech specs stuff down there at the bottom. And we open it up, and oh, look at that, your disc is just reflective gray. But hey, now I know where I got this. This came from Half Price Books. Look, there's a little sticker that they use to tell their employees where the disc is. So hey, that's where this came from. We're not done though, folks, because I have a VHS copy of Tremors for us to look at. You can see they have pretty similar poster art, except the worm is bigger on the VHS, which makes this artwork look so much cooler. With the little tiny people up there at the top and then the big worm down there. I just like how this is laid out. But we have Universal Collector's Choice. This might be a reprint of the Tremors tape since it has this banner up here at the top. I don't think the original release had that, but pretty cool. I found this at a flea market not too long ago, so yippee for me. Get to show VHS footage on this episode. Universal up there at the top. Tremors in big letters, product number. The back actually features some of the same photos from the back of the Blu-ray, except the poster art is continued. So if you look at the ground up there, this mountain runs into this little house over here, or convenience store where all the characters meet up at. You got your barcode, some quotes about the movie, the title again, blurb about it, forming around these 2 screenshots. Again, they're the same screenshots as on the Blu-ray, cast and crew information, tech specs down there at the bottom. The other side looks the same, and the top just has the title. And there's what your sticker label looks like. You've got some Universal logo watermark behind it, and then Tremors up there at the top. For a 90-minute movie, this has a lot of tape in it. I'm willing to bet there's a lot of trailers on here. I mentioned this earlier, folks, but you know what it means when we have a VHS tape on home media reviews now. It's time to show some VHS footage. I'm sure you all were very sad when we took a look at the Taken trilogy last week, not only because those last two installments are not very good, but Taken doesn't have a VHS, and we couldn't look at any VHS footage last week, so that was upsetting. But now, this week with Tremors, I'm here to rectify that. So, let's go ahead and jump right into the VHS footage for Tremors, and then we'll move right along to the menu tour.
You have to be one strong son of a bitch.
Thanks, too.
I'll give you boys $5 for this. 20. Okay, 10. 15. Okay, 15. Damn right, 15.
I don't believe you guys.
Alrighty, everyone, here's your menu tour for Tremors. We only have this Blu-ray copy to take a look at here, so let's dive right in. After Taken last week, I am so happy that this menu doesn't have a whole bunch of frickin' quick cuts. This is actually a pleasant menu to look at. It's not horrible like Taken 2 and 3's menus were. It is the classic Universal menu style, though, that we saw with Jurassic Park way back when. We have play, chapters, setup, extras, how to, what's new, and then a ticker. Turn that on and off, I guess. This what's new tab, we're not even going to bother because it's powered by Blu-ray Disc Live, and I'm sure that service has been shut down. Doesn't work anymore. How to view these user guides to get the most out of your Blu-ray experience. Well, excuse me, Tremors Blu-ray. I think I know how to get the most out of my movies. Thank you very much. So we'll take a look at chapters here first. We've got numbers and titles and also photos there. Seems we have 17 scenes, 18 if you count the credits. For setup, we have a English 5.1 and a French 5.1 mix. Subtitles English, Spanish, and French. Why no Spanish for spoken language, Tremors? The Spanish just have to read what they're saying? And now, here's my favorite part, the extras. The making of Tremors. This is like a huge documentary about how the Tremors film was made. It's really good. I like it a lot. You should buy this Blu-ray just for that. Outtakes, a featurette, Kevin Bacon profile, Michael Gross profile, Reba McEntire profile, theatrical trailers, My Scenes, and then a D-Box motion code. My Scenes, I think, is a version of that bookmarks thing that Fox has done with some of their Blu-rays. We saw that last week with the Taken films. You could bookmark your favorite scenes, I guess. I've never figured out how that works, and I don't really care to. But that wraps up your menu tour for Tremors. Let's go ahead and head on back and answer the 5 main questions, as always.
My pizza was fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. Now that we're back from the close-up, let's answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? Well, if you're in my town right now, and you go to Best Buy, you can find the 7 movie collection on store shelves. I don't know if that's the same with all of you. It's definitely not the same with the Best Buy in my town that doesn't sell physical media anymore. I only have 2 in my town, and one of them doesn't sell physical media anymore, so I'm down 1 Best Buy. So I'm going to say some Best Buy stores, but not all of them. Not Target, not Walmart, but your best bet is to pick up just the regular Blu-ray at like a half-price books or something. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? This might be cheating, considering that the copy that's sitting on my store shelf right now might be back stock, but I'm going to say yeah. It's definitely still out there. This has always been kind of a loaded question, kind of hard to answer. But I'm going to say yeah, by a technicality. Number 3, should you pick this product up? Another loaded question, but this one is a resounding yes. Because Tremors, this is just a fun romp. Tremors knows what it is, and it doesn't try to be anything more than that. It knows it's a simplistic and sometimes very stupid creature feature film. The strength of Tremors comes from not only the action, but from the 2 main leads here with Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward. These 2 have such amazing chemistry on screen as Val and Earl. I could watch these 2 for hours. I could watch them just go around the town of Perfection just doing odd jobs. I think you saw this particular scene in the VHS footage, but when they're bantering with Walter, the store owner, about how much he wants to pay for that sandworm, that's one of the funniest scenes in the movie. They both do these over the top crazy southern accents, and Kevin Bacon's got that beautiful, beautiful cowboy hat on. I love these two together. They're the driving force that makes Tremors as good as it is. It's not just them, though. The college student Rhonda, who's played by Finn Carter, she's really good in the movie, too. I enjoy her role a lot. She's the audience surrogate character. She's brand new to this town, and she has no idea how any of this place works. And yet she is just as shocked when these huge shockwaves come through on her seismology graphs, and she's like, what the hell? I've never seen readings like these before. One of the best scenes in the film comes about halfway through when Val, Earl, and Rhonda are all stuck on those rocks because I think it's the second sandworm is following them and knows that they're on that rock and they can't leave. The conversations that happen there are just cinematic brilliance. Hey, Rhonda, you ever seen anything like this before? Oh, sure, Earl. Everybody knows about them. We just didn't tell you. They're mutations caused by radiation. No, wait. The government made them. That was a big surprise for the Russians. That also plays into one of Tremors' biggest strengths, is the fact that we don't know where these giant sandworms came from. Like I said, in those quotations, the characters speculate on where they might have come from, but we never get a confirmed answer, and neither do the characters. And I like that about this, because sometimes in life, random things just happen, and you never get the answer to it, either because there is no definitive one, or because it was covered up by someone. Most of the time, it's the government that covers it up, but I'm not going to get into that. Which makes these things more terrifying, since we don't know where they come from, and we don't know anything about them. All we know is they live under the earth, they can sift through soft rock, they can't go through solid rock, as is found out when they kill the first one. We killed it! We killed it! Fuck you! The one character that I think everyone remembers in Tremors is not Kevin Bacon, it's not Fred Ward, it's Burt Gummer, played by Michael Gross, fresh off of Family Ties, where he plays a hippie-type character, you know, all that peace and love, kind of like a Ringo Starr type character. I've never seen Family Ties, so I don't have anything to compare him to. I've always known him as Burt Gummer. He's hilarious as this anti-government, doomsday prepping ammo nut who has every kind of gun under the sun. Another just hilarious scene is when, I think it's the third might be the second one, breaks into Bert's underground bunker, and he and his wife, played by Reba McEntire, just start unloading just thousands of rounds into it over the span of like 5 minutes. I mean, I'm laughing continuously throughout that whole scene, and then Bert goes and breaks open this glass case and grabs this giant elephant gun and just unloads into this thing, and when it's finally dead, he ends it off with the best line ever. You broke into the wrong damn rec room, didn't you, you bastard? I like him and Reba McEntire as a couple in this movie. I think they have great chemistry. I like them a lot. I'm sad Reba didn't come back for the rest of the series. I think it said in Tremors 2 she leaves him, which is really upsetting because I liked them together. I actually bought that they liked each other. Reba also gets the ending song in this movie during the credits, which I'll admit I was listening to, and I kind of liked it. This is an action season of HMR, so I should probably talk about the action in Tremors. There's really not a lot of action here. It's a lot of running away from the giant worms, but when there is action, it's a lot of fun. I like the creativity when it comes to how they kill these giant worms. The first one is killed when it smashes through a brick wall. The second one is literally gunned down by Burt Gummer. Third one is killed by a bomb that Burt Gummer makes. And then the fourth one, because apparently these worms get smarter throughout the film. That's That's one aspect of this I can't really give it. I don't buy smart worms, but it gets killed when it's scared by a bomb and then it flies off a cliff and explodes, which with each worm death, the kills get more creative and way more gruesome, and it's just a hell of a lot of fun. I've always wondered, why does the worm blood look like pizza sauce? Am I the only one that noticed that? It looks like tomato sauce throughout a lot of this movie. Again, am I the only one that noticed that? I couldn't get that out of my head. It made me want to eat pizza, which is why I ate pizza earlier on in the video. No, I'm not just saying that because I had pizza earlier on. This is my opinion, okay? The animatronic worms that they used for this film are also really good. I mean, you don't see them a lot. They have to use the Jaws effect because of how little money this movie actually had to work with, but that works to the movie's advantage because these worms are terrifying. The POV shots of how it's... My favorite part of it is the POV shots, where the camera is really low to the ground and it's snaking along. It's like the worm is above ground and following our main character, but the worm is underground. It's really well done. I love those POV shots throughout this movie. And again, those giant foam puppets that they made for this, they look great. They look like real animals. They never look like puppets. Design is very creative, how its tongues have several mouths on them. It's so cool how you think that, oh, this one's just like a baby worm or something, but where's mama? No, that's its tongue. It has like 4 of them in its mouth. And the tongues have mouths to pull the victim in, and then the giant worm eats it. It's such a creative idea. I love the graboids in this movie, which apparently they're named in this movie. They're named graboids. I never caught that. I thought that was a sequel thing. I always just called them giant sandworms, but apparently they're graboids. Which I guess makes sense. The tongues do grab, so I can see where the name came from. This movie is one of the best horror comedies I've seen in a long time because it plays into the whole horror aspect with how the worms kill their first few victims. That scene where the couple is at the campground and the worm eats the husband first, and then the wife is inside of that car, and the worms start clawing at the car and pulling it down underground. I mean, that, chills, man. But it's also funny because of how the characters react to this situation. I mean, it's a perfect blend of horror and comedy. It's more comedy than horror, I'll give it that. It's not like hardcore, gruesome Saw type violence, but the comedy is definitely a strength of Tremors, and I really enjoy it a lot. It's one of my favorite creature features. It's one of my favorite B movies of all time. I think my only negative is the fact that I don't buy the smart worm thing. I can look past that, though, because once the smart worm thing starts really coming into play during the final act, I'm already into the movie, and I'm not checking out just to save an extra, 10 minutes of my life. I've already had a great time, so I want to see this last worm get killed. It's the perfect length, too. It's a little, 5 minutes over 90 minutes. It won't take up a lot of your time. It's a great creature feature. It's just wonderful. Kevin Bacon gives a great performance alongside Fred Ward and Michael Gross. It has a stellar cast. The scenery is great. They actually shot this on location in a desert out in California, not in Nevada, but pretty damn close. The sets look real, the worms look real, the action is fun, the comedy is great. Tremors just works on all levels, and you should definitely give it a watch if you haven't already. I absolutely recommend you watch Tremors. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? I'm going to say St. Matches is number 1. If you find that 7 movie pack, it's probably pretty cheap. I'd pick that up, but if you find the Blu-ray just by itself at a pawn shop or something, buy that. And number 5, what price should you pay? Well, I only paid $3 for my Blu-ray, so I'm going to say about 5 to 10 for that probably is a good deal. And honestly, if you can find the 7 movie set and you're a big fan of the first Tremors, you might like the sequels. I don't know though, I haven't seen them, but I've heard the second one's not bad. So if you find that one, I'd say probably 15 to 20 for that. That's a pretty good price for 7 movies. All right, folks. Well, that wraps up your home media review for Tremors. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is, once again, as I said in an earlier episode of this season, I'm finding more and more favorite movies that I forgot were my favorites. Tremors is one of my favorite creature feature films. It's a B movie. It's stupid, but it's a whole lot of fun. And if nothing else, it's impressive for its practical effects. Those worm puppets still hold up today. So, what are we going to talk about next week? Well, I'm going to shift gears a little bit here. We're moving away from creature features to more modern day type stuff. And I promise next week's movie will actually be mostly action. The last 2 weeks have been kind of more thriller. This one was more giant monster, run away from it, creature feature type stuff. Next week's movie will be solely action-based. It's a newer movie that came out a couple of years ago that stars a very popular actor, one of my favorites working in Hollywood. Can you guess who it is? It's Bob Odenkirk, and he stars in next week's movie, Nobody, from the same people who brought you the John Wick franchise. If I can't cover John Wick in this season, I'm a cover its very close cousin, Nobody. I will see you all next week for that. Thank you all so very much for watching. And as always, good night, everybody.